Good morning, everybody. It's a nice Sunday morning here. Having a little morning coffee here. So I had told some of you in my last video that I was going to be making a video about ticket prices and who we booked with going back to the Philippines. And so that's what we're going to do here today, is we're going to look at several different popular airlines that are used for going back and forth over to the Philippines and other parts of Asia. And we're not going to cover them all, it's just too many. We're going to hit some of the target ones. We're going to hit PAL, we're going to hit American Airlines, we're going to hit Korean Air, and we're going to hit Eva Airlines. And we'll do a little price comparisons on them, and we're going to do some price comparisons of one-way tickets versus round trips, and we're going to look at the prices of the difference between booking with Philippine Airlines and booking with American Airlines for the exact same flight. For the difference is going to astound you. Unreal. So let's get into this, and we'll switch here to the computer screen and we'll get going on this. Alright, so first we're going to look here at Philippine Airlines, and I'm going to use some dates that I used when we booked our tickets when I was trying to get a baseline. So let's look at flying from LAX here on Philippine Airlines first, and the destination being Manila. And we're going to use a departure date of, we'll use like 8/18 for instance, and a return date, I'm going to still use what I originally used when I did this search that I wrote down. Alright, so here we go, and we'll see if it's changed any since I looked at this past week. Right here, you're looking at $1,143.30 on the first segment of going there. And we'll just choose one of these, so it'll let us move on to the next. And now we're going to continue. And then on return coming back, March 2023, that segment there, you see the prices are all pretty close to the same for several days. We'll just choose one. It's still exactly the same price. Actually, it's changed by a whole 10 cents from when I originally checked it. Alright, so there we go. So if you took these two right here and you add them together, you come out to $23.0347. That's what your round trip ticket would be right now on Philippine Airlines, and that's from LAX to Manila, LAX. Now wherever else you are in the country, if you're not in LA, you're going to have to do a domestic flight the rest of the way right there. Now here's what I want to show you that's interesting, and let's change this now to a one-way, Los Angeles to Manila, and let's change it to the same departure date, and this is going to be on 8/18 for a departure date. And let's search now, and so there you go. This is what your ticket would be, $842.80. Now let's go back and let's their one-way tab don't always stay working right. Now let's do a return from Manila to LAX, and let's choose that original date. We're going to go back over to March, and that was the 15th, and let's search flight 744.67. Let me just click on one of these just for instance for now. So there you go right there. There's your 744.67 right there. Now let's do a little math here real quick. So we got the 842.80 on the one leg of the journey, plus 744.67 on the return. Comes out for the same flights, bought as two separate tickets, not a round trip, $1,587.47, to where the round trip ticket was the total of $2303.47. So that's a pretty significant difference right there. So you're talking about $716 difference by not booking a round trip and doing two separate tickets. Now let's look at another option here. And this time, what we're going to do, we're going to start out with a round trip, but we're going to go from DFW here. That's my local airport, and many people use DFW, and we're going to go to Manila. All right, same dates again, nothing changed. So our departure, we're going to show it as 8/18, and we're going to show a return date over here in March again. Oop, one click too far, and there we go. And let's do a search. Here we are right here. That would be taking American Airlines out of Dallas. Let's show a flight detail. We're going to land LAX on to Manila. So that's going to pick up with American Airlines doing the domestic flight here in the country to LAX. So we're looking at $1477.80. Let's just choose that flight and let's continue. Now we are going to look at the return back Manila to Dallas, $1,500.27. That would be your total round trip right there, $2978.07. So now we're going to do the exact same thing again. We're going to break this down into two separate tickets, and again from DFW to Manila, departure date 8/18, and let's search the flight. And so let's go ahead and just choose that so we can move on forward. And of course you see there's your total right there. Now once again we're going to back up, and we're going to stick with our one way, which you have to click back every time. And now we're going to go Manila to DFW. Okay, and now our return back over to March 15th, and here we go again. Alright, so there you have it right there. We can just choose economy value and move on forward, and as you see there's your $967.27. Now we're going to do a little math here again. $1,044.30 on the trip going there, plus $967.27 on the return. That brings your ticket out to $2,011.57 by buying it as two separate tickets. And let's do a little math again. $2978.07. That was booking it as all one ticket round trip, minus $2011.57. $966.50 difference. I mean, you're saving, not far from $1,000 by booking it as two separate tickets. Your trip going there and your trip return. You're still on the same planes, the same flights, with the same people, everything. Just by booking it differently, you saved yourself basically $1,000. And I'm going to do this without logging into my account. So we're going to do the same thing, DFW to Manila on American Airlines. We're going to have the departure date of being August the 18th, the return being over here March 15th. Yep, looks all good. Now, one of the things you have to do with American Airlines is you need to hit this advanced tab. If you don't, it's not going to give you a really accurate search. And one of the things you're going to need to do is go in here and change time of day to all day, and over here on your return, time of day to all day, so it gives you all. And another thing you want to do is you want to scroll down here, and where it says search by lowest fare, class show all, but you want to change this from American Airlines to all airlines. If you fail to go down and do that, it's going to really limit your search. Right now, we know without scrolling down that the cheapest going there is going to be $19.79. So it looks like it's going to be maybe by Japan Airlines. Yeah. Narita to Manila. So that's who the codeshare partner is going to be then, is going to be JAL, Japan Airlines, on that ticket. This is what's interesting right here. Very interesting. Look at these details. So here we go right here. This is going to be American Airlines to LAX, and then from LAX on to Manila, operated by Philippine Airlines. Now this is really interesting. This is a good little side story right here. So for that same flight that you're getting on Philippine Airlines, $38.69, that is just one leg of the journey. And now you gotta get a return coming back. So return Manila, and if you want to do Philippine Airlines, there again, look, your cheapest return. Look at $38.69 on the return. So if you took the cheapest going there on American Airlines, it would be $19.79 plus $38.69 return. You would be out $5,848 for that same trip. And now if you did the Philippine Airlines as the international carrier, you would be out $7,738 for the same flight that if you booked it with Philippine Airlines is only $2,978.07. Let's do a little math on that. Minus 2,978.07. You're talking about a $4,759.93 difference. Almost $4,800 difference to be on the exact same airplane with the same people going the same place, and all you did was book it with a different carrier, Philippine Airlines versus American Airlines, and you're sitting still on the same plane. So let's just scratch American Airlines. Absolutely ridiculous. What a ripoff. I don't want to go through Expedia. That's another thing I want to say. Look at all these up and book them directly with the carrier. If you run into a problem, a cancellation, a change, or anything, the carrier is going to tell you you're going to have to go through your booking agent, which is going to be, like Expedia, Travelocity, whichever one you use out there. There's a lot of names. So here we go. Korean Air, we're going to go Dallas, arriving to Manila. Here's what I've done a search before. Round trip, departure date is going to be 8/18. And then the return, I'm a little too far, 15, confirm, and be flexible on the dates just for the heck of it. We can see some options there. So let's look here again. We can just stop right here. I want you to look at that. $7,420.07. Will you have a look at that? Just look at that. Now, 2 months ago, you could have looked up on Korean Airlines here, and those tickets were very cheap. And Korean Airlines prices have just skyrocketed. Look at that. That is right up there, just barely under what it was going to be on American Airlines. And in fact, you could even get it cheaper on American Airlines by that one leg only being $1,979. Okay, so here we are now on Eva Air, and let's scroll down here. We're going to look at the round trip. It still has saved what I last looked up, so let's move on forward with that. Departure, still got all the information saved. My dates are flexible. We're going to look at economy class, one adult, and let's do a search. Alright, so look here. Eva Air, on the same dates, the flight going there, you can choose to go out of Dallas for $584.30. It'll always say things like one seat left. I think that's just to try to prompt you to, ooh, I better hurry and buy that, because you can come back days from now and it's still going to say one seat left. Yeah, so let's show flight details here. It's going to be flying from Dallas to San Francisco, San Francisco to Taipei, Taipei to Manila, and look at that, $584.30. And the prices went up 10 cents on this since I looked at it, but let's just choose one of these for right now so we can progress forward kind of quick. And so you're looking at $1,266.07 for your round trip ticket, all in, from Dallas to Manila and Manila back to Dallas right there. $1,266.07. Now, I have never flown Eva Air. I know some of you have. I've also went into some groups and some forums with expats and all that fly to the Philippines, and I hear them really speak high of Eva Airlines, that they have a really good flight, that they take really good care of you. I want you all to share your experience with me about that. Now, I want to move forward and tell you something here. This is still not the total price, okay? You still have to pay for your seat selection. You see that right there has a dollar sign? So you still have to go through these flights and choose your seats. Now, you may not be out that much, because once you get to those screens, you're going to have to choose for each leg of this journey. For each leg. So you're going to have to choose your Manila to Taipei seat, and your Taipei to Seattle, for instance, is your return seat, and then your Seattle DFW seats. Some of them you might be able to choose free seats that don't cost you anything. Some of them might be $20, some of them might be $100, according to where you want to sit. So beware of that you might find yourself spending an extra $80, $120 or something over this, selecting your seats on that, okay? So there, once again, you're going to get your 2 pieces of luggage, 23 kilos each. You know, I'm glad to see an improvement with the airlines this year on that. So many of them was doing like 22 kilos, or they were doing 20 kilos, and you would be a few kilos over when you packed from an international carrier, say like American Airlines or somebody out of the US, that would give you 50 pounds, and you would end up getting over to where they do kilos, and they would have a lower kilo that you might only be allowed 44 pounds if you broke it down. And so you would have to pay those airlines in other countries an overage. And they have, I noticed here recently, even on Philippine Airlines, all of these have changed it now to 23, so that you're balanced out and you come out even with the 50 pounds. Kudos for them for finally, after forever, doing that. So this is the flight that Melinda and I are taking. We're going to take Eva Air. It's going to be our first time experience. Hopefully things aren't too worked up. Hopefully we get in and out of there before old Nancy decides to visit. And if you know what I'm talking about on that. And so this is what we've chose to do. I can try to look at this maybe in one other aspect for you, and we can see if there's any savings on doing one ways real quick, since we did it on the others. So we're going to look at that real fast. Looks like everything's good. Let's search. And now, as you see right here, it is higher to do a one-way ticket. And on this airlines, where it was cheaper over on Philippine Airlines to do a one-way. So see, it is not a benefit, I can already see on this airline, because instead of that ticket being $584.30, that same ticket is $823.30. So a significant increase with this airline as it was Philippine Airlines on booking it in individual tickets versus round trip. Alright, so I appreciate you all watching this video, and I hope that maybe that gave you a little insight on booking. I fluctuated around with a lot of dates the other day, and the prices, no matter what date I put in on Eva Air, seem to beat out everybody. So I just set those dates as a baseline for somebody who might want to be there for a while. You might want to look and explore a little bit closer. Dates up around the holidays going into December. I found usually tickets between December about 9th, 10th, 11th, right in there. The prices start shooting up, and the prices don't seem to come back down until like around January the 15th. And right around that time, they'll usually take a drop back down. So look at that too. Pretty much that 1 month window in there from the early part of December until the mid of January is a very pricey time usually for going to the Philippines. So if you want to be over there during the holidays, you want to go ahead and get that ticket booked early, or you want to go ahead and get on in over there in the early part of December and be there for Christmas and New Year's and for the holidays. And don't plan on leaving the country if you can afford to be there for a little while, if you're just there for vacation, whatever. If you can, try to stay at least after like January 9th to January 15th being better, and book your return back out of there after that date. Like I say, usually the prices have taken a drop during then. It's not just about Christmas there or New Year's. There's other religious holidays and events and all, and celebrations that happen during that whole time, even after New Year's, that tend to keep the ticket prices and the travel busy in Asia at that time. All right, well, I appreciate you all watching this. Comment, share, tell me your stories. Tell me what you think about this. Tell me if you think there's a better deal out there or who you fly with. Share it with everyone in the comment section. Let's all help each other. Everybody out there, have a blessed day.